In the morning, I like my orange juice. In the evening, I like my beer. Who knew I could combine my two passions?
I told Mrs. Sixpack I'm taking the dog for a walk. I didn't tell her I was taking the dog to a brewery. Up next, we'll tell you the best places to drink with your pup.
From the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, PA, with Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow for What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conchohockenbrewing.com.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow along with beer aficionado Joe Sixpack. We're at the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, where I am starting the day with this lovely hazy IPA, my friend. This is the Sunkist. Look at that. Can't see through it. I love it. What about
Sounds
you?
like orangey beer. I'm going with something basic. A lager. This is the German Pils here. Frisch, it's called. I thought I'd start out with something basic because, Glenn, we're going to get into some pretty crazy beers here today.
We're going to get into something very different right now, which is a new trend, which is the orange creamsicle beer. What the heck? This is not blood orange IPA, which we've all had for a while. This is something that's a kind of a new trend. We're doing a swap. What do you got?
Okay, I brought one from Boulevard Brewing out in Kansas City, and it is a creamsicle beer, which, you know, you've had a good creamsicle from the Jack and Jill.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna hopefully this is gonna taste orangey and vanilla, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Big trend this summer.
Jack and Jill. I remember that creamsicle was 15 cents. No,
Yeah,
not that long
in
ago.
what century?
Well, yeah, maybe the 20th. There we go. Okay, it's how do I describe it? I definitely get the orange up front. I get the vanilla too. It's got a little bit of a saccharine aftertaste to me. A little bit.
I think
a little bit too sugary.
They do get that way. I think it. If I was designing this beer, I might go with a little bit more vanilla in it. So.
Okay. So I went recently to the Ithaca Beer Company up in upstate New York, and they're very big on this, which is their orange cream wit. So it's an orange cream wheat beer, as it describes, made with fresh orange zest, dried orange peel, and lactose sugar. A refreshing beer with a nice foundation of fresh citrus characters.
This is more wit beer, like, you know, that Belgian kind of style of of like cloudy beer. It doesn't have as much vanilla in it as the creamsicle
Much
beer.
better, be a little more subtle. So the whole thing with this is the lactose. You have to explain this to me because lactose in beer is not the kind of thing most people expect.
Well, lactose has been in beer they've added it to beer for a long time. A cream stout, for example, is made with lactose. Milk sugar. Milk sugar does not ferment with beer yeast, and so the sweetness remains. What's happened with these milkshake lager or milkshake IPAs lately is that in addition to the lactose, which provides the sweetness, they're adding things like vanilla and possibly fruit puree for more sweetness, and it also gives it a big body, so it has the feeling of a milkshake.
Yeah, I like that. Dumb question. What if you're lactose intolerant? No, I'm serious. I mean, I know people.
That's a good question. I've run into people like that all the time.
They stay away from milk and cheese and so on. Can they enjoy one of his babies?
I think it depends on how intolerant you are, which I guess is the case for all things in life.
I try to be a very tolerant person. Okay, so
what beer company makes one? Why don't we give theirs a shot?
All right, this is the Schmoogie, which you're going to explain to me.
Right.
Tootsicle orange vanilla, and this is not just your regular lactose beer, as I'm already seeing. Look at this pour. Whoops, don't want to spill it.
Right.
All right, this is a little thicker than.
These are the Smoogies.
What the heck am I pouring here?
We're going to talk a lot more about these things, but you can see the body of this thing. This is like a milkshake or a smoothie.
Yeah.
They call them Smoogies here.
Yeah.
Extremely popular. People line up for these beers, Glenn. You know, I want to hear your first thought on this one.
A little sweet for my taste. Interesting, different. I feel like I'm drinking a milkshake, not a beer. I feel like I'm drinking a milkshake with alcohol as opposed to a beer that's got some orange and vanilla.
I think that's a very good description. I think it is. It's the body in it is way over the top. I mean, it's hard for our viewers probably to see it, but you know, there you go. Look at the side of that glass. It just sticks, so it is thick.
All right, I don't see the percentage alcohol in it, but what I'm telling you is, when I drink, this is a dangerous thing, because when I drink this, I could gulp this puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could drink this down pretty fast, and maybe it's going to hit me later.
I almost can guarantee it will, actually. But, you know, it's a fun trend, I think, and that's really what this place is about, is trying some of these new things with beer, and they become very popular.
All right, so we did kind of the orange ones, which is a trend in of itself, and you brought some others.
A couple others. This one is Orange Crusher from Captain Lawrence up in New York, and locally Iron Hill is making one too. Came out over the summer. We're going to be visiting them in a few weeks from now. We'll talk to them more about that.
I like that. Other fruits that you might use in something like this, hold on, I don't know if people can see it. It's now starting to separate the body and the foam, but it's still a lot of foam.
All right, so other fruits. How about this one, smoothie from IMPRINT? This is strawberry, orange, and coconut. So we're getting, I think we were talking to the Ryan Deal here. He might tell us there's no fruit that can't go into a smoothie, I would guess. Yeah, well, listen, it's creative and it's fun, and I can see people really like it. Is this a trend you think is going to hold up a little bit? Well, milkshake IPAs have been around really full force for about 2 years. I don't see them falling away. I think that a brewery like this is, you know, they've really put a lot of investment in making this style of beer. Other breweries are just doing one and dones, and you know, it is a novelty for other breweries. Well, it's fun, and these are fun, and you know what? Not the kind of thing I would want to drink every day, but you get a warm weekend afternoon still, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, hey, coming up, interesting things going on in the making of beer, which is there's a supply chain shortage in CO2. We'll tell you why that matters. We are at the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing?
You don't have to go away to get away. Go and explore. Find the small businesses that make where you live a community. When you dine, choose homemade. On a free weekend, discover the great outdoors. And if it's brewed here, enjoy it with friends. Support small for an experience you won't find anywhere else. Make it local, make it Main Street, make it Motco.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow of the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, where I am drinking a cool wallpaper. This is a Pilsner with cucumber and habanero. Oh, I might have to taste that later on. This is Ink Therapy. It is, as you can see, a stout. Very nice. I love the label. Very nice. Okay, we want to cover some of the trends that are going on right now. There's been an issue at beer festivals. We all go to beer festivals, we all enjoy them, but there's been kind of a growing concern with behavior at these beer festivals. What's going on? Well, you know, people are drinking, things get out of hand sometimes. I have to say, generally the conduct at beer festivals I've attended has been very, very good. You see the occasional problems, but recently out in Pittsburgh, some concerns were raised over, I guess, homophobic remarks that were being made towards some of the attendees, and it forced, not really forced, but Pittsburgh's Brewers Guild, which is very proactive on these types of things apparently, decided to come up with a code of conduct for people to make people feel safer at festivals, which I think is a great idea. We've talked before, there's kind of a bro culture in beer, and that's fine in and of itself, but you gotta be careful. You don't want to get involved in sexual harassment or homophobia or anything like that. So the industry's got to police itself. You say they are. Absolutely, and they came out this summer with this code of conduct, and then they were involved out there with the, I love the name of this, the Mixed Culture Festival,
which was a festival that was not only promoting beers made with different yeast cultures, but also one that was attracting a diverse crowd.
Good.
You know, the idea was that they would provide a festive, welcoming atmosphere for everybody there.
Bottom line, people, just be nice, right? That's easy.
This has been our theme about beer on this show. It's a community thing. That's what we're all about drinking together.
And it's something that we're delighted to be able to promote. All right, as I mentioned in the tease, there's something going on with a shortage of CO2. Who knew? And this is really impacting some breweries.
This has been building for some time. You don't really think about CO2 as an ingredient in beer.
Right.
I mean, but it's really, really important.
Yeah. We always go malt, hops, water, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We never list CO2.
Right, and you really need CO2 to at least make it a drinkable product. It's really what distinguishes beer from wine. So the problem is that there's been a shortage industry-wide in CO2. And so brewers are scampering for supplies.
Yeah, and there was a story, I mean, this is not the only one, but there was a story recently that U.S. Night Shift Brewing in Massachusetts had such a problem that it stopped production in its facility. They moved all of their stuff to Jack's Abbey, which was a nearby brewery there, to try to get by.
It's a shame. I mean, people lost jobs over this whole thing. And we've been hearing locally some people having problems or having to have to come up with new alternative supplies. There's an ability for brewers to recycle CO2 out of their own production.
So shouldn't that be happening anyway, right? Because I mean, that's kind of a better idea rather than pay for it. And I don't understand the science. Hey, the last science course I took was biology in high school. I got a C+, and that's because the teacher took pity on me.
I got a D.
You got a D? Oh, all right. So we don't know what, we're talking out our rear ends here. But it would seem that if you have the ability to save money by creating it yourself or recycling it, rather than going out and buy, you know what, I'm drinking a beer. I can't, I got nothing.
Well,
you got anything on this?
CO2? I don't know. Bubbles.
Okay, bubbles. Very important in beer. See, look, the bubbles. We don't want to lose those.
All right.
All right, one other story I want to go to. We talked sometimes about the prices of beers. There was a PGA tournament in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they charged $18 for a Michelob Ultra. That's not even beer. That's water. $19 for a Stella. I don't know what my question is to you other than, what, are you kidding me?
This is why I don't go to golf matches. I mean, only because they don't serve good beer or they will fleece you on the prices. But $18 seems a little bit out of hand. I have to say, you know, when they've got you trapped and you are beholden to one vendor.
Well, that's it, right?
You know, you're out of luck sometimes.
I mean, concession prices everywhere can be really nuts. At ballparks, at movie theaters, at anywhere you go, it is. Yeah.
Well, can you think of what's the best deal you ever gotten on a beer at a sporting event?
Obviously, you have one in mind. So
I'm just trying to think. I remember years ago when I was going nuts about the Vet Stadium beer selection. They briefly lowered their prices when they came, at the very end of it, and you were getting some good deals then. And I actually remember them serving some Belgian beers for, at the time, a ridiculously low price.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, there you go. Anyway, you know what it is, and you're kind of a captive of it. Coming up, Joe Sixpack's Essentials takes you to a new neighborhood today, and we're going to talk about breweries and bars that are the most dog-friendly. It's going to get really sweet. We're at the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, PA. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing? Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, beer genius from Conshohocken Brewing Company. Andrew, let's run down some of our core beers with some exciting new looks. Start with Type A.
Our #1 selling beer. Big citrus hop notes. Type A is our classic American IPA.
Life Coach Hazy IPA.
Hazy, bright, and juicy. The perfect beer for all day, every day.
Puddler's Row.
Maybe the best English ale in the country. Back-to-back silver medals at the World Beer Cup.
backpack beer.
The newest addition to our year-round lineup. Citrus and spicy with a refreshingly clean finish. Pack a few and enjoy the view.
And everybody loves Ring the Bell.
My go-to, smooth, easy drinking lager that's perfect before, during, or after the game. This one's out of here!
Oof. Thank you, Harry. All exciting choices. Enjoy them all and a whole lot more at all of our Conshohocken Brewing Company locations. And wherever beer is sold. Welcome back to What's Brewing. I'm Glen Macnow with Joe Sixpack for the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield. I am drinking a Haze Drip IPA, 5.6%. That's almost a session beer these days.
Yeah, really. It is, you're right. I went with an IPA here too. This is the Moon Rocks, DDH Mosaic Moon Rocks from IMPRINT. Very, very aromatic. I'm going to save a little bit of this for you after the show.
Sweet. They have an amazing variety here at IMPRINT. All right, one of the things we've been doing this season that's really fun, Joe Sixpack has been stumbling around this town for decades and is kind of this year assembling his essentials, different neighborhood, different spot every week. Today we go to Phoenixville.
Phoenixville. I mean, I've said this before, but years ago you said Phoenixville, you went, what's going on? But now these days, this is a brewery central. Anybody that loves beer should go to Phoenixville to spend a day.
Let me just say, you and I one day decided we're going to do this show. We're going to do a tour of Phoenixville and all the good places. Ended up we had to do 2 shows because there were so many good places.
It was insane. It has one of the highest concentrations of breweries in America for amazing. The one I really think that you need to go to as an essential is Root Down. This place does not get a whole lot of notice outside of the suburbs. In the city, I don't see their beer very much around, but you don't want to miss this place. They're making very, very solid beers, including a Pilsner that I can think stands up with any Pilsner in the area, and also their Bine, which is a West Coast IPA that won a medal from the GABF, the Great American Beer Festival. They're on Main Street. Up the street, they also have a beer garden that's worth visiting as well. But also, when you're in Phoenixville, don't miss Conchi.
Thank you.
They have their Conchi Brewing's Rec Room, which is a really fun place. All the beers from Conchi
Play
are there.
a lot of ping pong there.
Yeah,
and,
I loved it. I know.
Foosball, all that stuff.
We're gonna have to go back so we can.
Yeah, well, you beat me in
rematch
the shuffleboard.
Right.
Yeah.
Also in town there is Stable 12. Iron Hill has a location, and Rebel Hill has 2 locations in and around there. Don't miss Phoenixville, period, but those are great breweries. 2 other places I got to mention. When you go to Phoenixville, stop at the Foodery there because it's a wonderful beer store.
Yeah.
We all know the Foodery, but their selection is the best there in Phoenixville, just amazing. And finally, if you're looking for just a restaurant with a big variety of taps, 24 taps, go to Bistro on the Bridge. Really nice place. I think it's like practically next door to Conchi.
Yeah, and as you said, 20 years ago, Phoenixville was nothing. They made a really smart effort to make that Bridge Street into a great place with all these destinations. And go see it. Joe Sixpack recommended. Okay, this year we've added something to the show, the Guzzly Awards, which basically we've asked your help to tell us the best brewery, brew pub, beer-related bar in various categories. Today's a great one, the most dog-friendly of those. Let me tell you some things that came up. I'm going to show you some pictures. This picture here was taken at the Sly Fox in Pottstown. This is Lucy enjoying a good time there. That came up from a few people. Let me tell you some other places that came up. Evil Genius came up from a lot of people. Triple Bottom Brewing in Spring Garden came up. Von C Brewing in Norristown, which we were. Let me show you a picture here. This is Stable 12 Brewing. Buddy enjoying his treat while his master enjoys some beverages. Always a dog-friendly place. What else did we have? Bald Birds came up from some people. Here, IMPRINT came up as a place that's dog-friendly. Workhorse Brewing, Moss Mill. One more picture. This is our place. This is, well, actually, you know what? Let me allow you to name the 4 that people will vote on, because one of them we have a nice picture.
Okay. Well, we've got 4 for you to vote on. You're going to vote online on Twitter, and we'll be giving out the Guzzly Awards later on this year. The 4 finalists here are Memphis Tap Room in Kensington, Fishtown area.
Let me tell you something about Memphis Tap Room. They have an Instagram account dedicated to the dogs that go there. It is at Dogs of Memphis Tap Room. I think if they celebrate them like that, we got to put them in here.
Absolutely. Next one is Wissahickon Brewing, which I was to recently, and it was just packed with dogs, maybe more dogs than people, but they actually have dog costume days, that sort of thing there.
Yes, and doggy birthdays, and they take the grain from the beer production and produce treats for the dog companions.
That's,
so that's
very friendly.
Nice. Yeah.
And the aptly named in Orland, the Retriever Brewing Company.
Okay.
So I mean,
they get in just by the name, sure.
Absolutely. And finally, what you were alluding to earlier before, the Conshohocken Tap Room on the Schuylkill Trail, which I can attest to. I've been there and seen many dogs as well.
Yeah, we've always been there, have the dog treats, have the water out there. This is Sammy enjoying, bellying up to the bar, literally, at the Conchi Brewing Tap Room in Conshohocken. So this will be a fun one.
It is, it is. I actually wonder if there's such a thing as a dog-unfriendly brewery, because my experience is everybody loves going to a brewery with dogs.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, coming up, we're enjoying ourselves here at the IMPRINT Beer Company. We're going to talk to Ryan, one of the co-owners, find out kind of how they do all this. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow, what's brewing?
So, what do you want to do today?
Today, I want to run. I want to skate.
Thank you.
I want to see a show. I want to play. I want to eat, like a lot. I want to sleep in a hotel. Can we do all that?
We can do all that and more.
Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow with the IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, joined by Ryan Deal, co-owner. And Ryan, we want to try this Mild Enthusiasm dark mild British beer, and it says pour hard.
Yep.
We want you to go first.
So this is nitrogen infused.
Oh, love this.
So we want to get that cascade like you get from a Guinness.
Oh, I'm already intrigued.
In order to do that, you want to pour fairly hard.
All right, I'm in.
Not too high.
Not too, uh-oh.
And then we're going to just kind of let the cascade come
There we
up.
go.
See that nice cascade?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. I did it perfectly.
There you go.
That's a beautiful beer. You make so many varieties of beer here. We
do.
talked about the smoothies. I love your IPAs.
Thank you.
I enjoyed this cool cucumber, which was a Pilsner. How many varieties you got going?
We have about 25 available at any given time. We have 8 on draft. We do a lot of hazy IPAs, a lot of fruited sours, and then we like to get involved with lagers, English beers.
Since you started, how many years ago?
We're about to turn 4.
How many beers have you done?
We've done about 1,200 different beers.
1,200?
1,200.
Excuse me. 1,200 different. You are either creative mind or a nutcase.
More of a nutcase.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That's pretty fantastic.
This is really good.
This is really freaking good
I
beer.
may take 1 or 2 of these home. Anyway,
we were talking earlier in the show about the sort of the oddball variety of beers, the smoothies and so on, different flavors. We had a jalapeno or habanero beer there, but you guys can deal a standard kind of like, style of beer that is very familiar to people, including this dark mild, a Pilsner. Where is all this coming from? You have the huge variety, but also seems like you are embedded deeply in tradition as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think the smoothies kind of got our name out in the press, and people kind of come here because of that. But underlying that, we have brewers with a lot of experience, and what we like to drink is more of a mild or a lager type of viewpoint. So we definitely want to make that. And of course, hazy IPAs pay the bill for the vast majority of breweries these days. So we've been making them since the garage days.
The first time I came here, there was a line out front, and you weren't even open. You had an event here. There was a lot of buzz about this brewery before you even got started. What accounted for that, do you think?
I think it was opening at the right time. I think the beer market at that point was really on kind of a hype train for a lot of things. We did some events around the country that people really fell in love with a lot of the beers we did. We do a lot of sweet stouts that at a beer festival, people just really go for like a really, really good pastry stout. And then the smoothies, we were one of the first breweries to make really thick fruited beers. We came up with the name Smoogie, and people couldn't find it anywhere else.
Brilliant.
And so people would come here for that.
It is brilliant. Speaking of, you got events, you gave me this great
Yep, Haze
shirt,
It Forward.
yeah, which I love, and you told me this is attached to a charity event.
So every year we do a huge IPA fest. We bring in hazy IPAs mostly, but a lot of other beers. We had about 400 people here this year. We donated $26,000 to the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
So we do certain beers, and we donate the proceeds from those beers, and then obviously the event. We've been doing that event on and off because of COVID, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
There you go. There's the shirt. It's a great shirt.
You know, Hazy Fest, are hazy beers still here? I mean,
Yes.
they're still very popular.
Yes.
So, I know Glenn's,
Thanks, man.
Glenn's
It's my
very happy about
jam.
that.
We brew 1 or 2 every week, and we have a hard time keeping them around. They sell very well.
That's amazing. So hazy beers, thick smoogie beers. As I said, you have a lot of buzz. You're also selling, I think, internationally as
We
well.
sell some beer to China, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Australia.
How does that work? I mean, we're in a small warehouse here in Montgomery County. You're getting the beer out there on the foreign market.
A lot of, I think the name and the brand recognition extends across the country and across internationally, and certain people want to pay up for it. So there's an avenue to sell beer at a decent price point that can still reach consumers in Asia at a level that they're willing to buy. And the Asian market really likes fruity beer.
Do they really?
How about that? All right, let's go more local. People want to find you, come here. You are in the stores. Actually, we recently did a show at Tasker's,
Yeah, Tasker's is a
next
great
to the
account.
township, and they said like there's such a buzz they can't keep you in stock, but people want to come here, drink it from the source, this tap right here. What are your hours? Tell people how to find you. What do you got here?
So we're open Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon. I should mention we have a food program here. After COVID, we stopped using food trucks. We built a little kitchen inside. We outsourced that. So we do flatbreads, tacos, wings, fries. It's a simple menu, but it's really good. People have been coming in for the food, staying for the beer, and vice versa. So we're really proud of the food and
That's
the food that's
fantastic.
available.
4 years of business, you're growing. That's really good news.
We're about to turn 4.
That's great. Well, listen, we really enjoyed our time here, and just the variety of beer, of excellent beer,
Thank you.
has been so impressive. Ryan, we really enjoyed it. People should check it out. IMPRINT Beer Company in Hatfield, PA. I know we'll be back, and we'll be back next week. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's Brewing?
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conshohockenbrewing.com.